Bobby, my friend, who lent me his bike, and I were a month apart in age. My birthday was in October, his was in November. So we were competitors on many fronts, always anxious to outdo each other. Now, one of the things I will readily admit, he could outrun me. He could really run fast. The other thing was I was heavier and a lot stronger. And I don't know if all boys do this. Some people know this, but one of the tests that we do is we grab each other's hands and you squeeze, and the loser says "uncle," so the squeezing can stop. Well, I had his knuckles all lined up, so the pressure was really extreme on him, and I could see his eyes tearing up. And I said, "Say uncle, say uncle." He kept shaking his head. No, no, say uncle, say uncle. Apparently, he couldn't stand it any longer, and he gave me a punch in the face. Now, I still had his hand. I was heavier and stronger. So I grabbed his wrist, his hand, with both hands, and I started swinging him around. And I got momentum up to the point where I got his feet off the ground. And at some point, I let go. He stumbled out into the street just as a passing car was passing where we were standing. I bounced him off the front right fender of the car. He kind of flew into the air a little bit and lay sprawled on the ground like he might have been dead or something. The driver screeched to a halt, standing on the brake. And before there was any discussion or anything, I scooped Bobby up and ran him to my house. And I told my dad, "A car hit Bobby. He seems to be all right, but you need to check him out." I don't remember if I got if the true story ever got out, if I was punished or not. I was just so happy that he wasn't hurt bad that I certainly wasn't going to bring it up. Oh, playing Cowboys and Indians, uh, I captured Bobby and I was able to tie him up a bit. And I had seen in a movie or read in a book, maybe it was The Last of the Mohicans or something, but I tied his feet together. Then I tied his hands together behind his back. Then I tied his feet and hands together. And then I tied his hands and feet to a loop around his neck. By the time Cowboys and Indians are over and we're ready to go home, I remembered I had Bobby tied up. And when I went to find him, he looked ill. He didn't look healthy anymore. I had to run back home to get the sharpest knife in the drawer and run back down to the vacant lot to cut the ropes. And then I walked him back home to my house to my dad and said, "Dad, we were playing, but Bobby looked kind of sick. I thought maybe you needed to look at him." I don't know if Bobby told him I almost killed him or not. My wife says I have a very convenient memory, and I am not purposely not remembering. I just don't remember what the punishment was. Well, my neighbor, Mr. Harris, was 2 doors away from me. My friend Bobby was 3 doors away from me. In the morning, I noticed Mr. Harris just did the same routine automatically every day. He'd come out of his kitchen. His kitchen is just like my kitchen. And out on the back porch, down the steps, and he'd go to the garage and unlock his garage door. lift the garage door and drive his car out into the yard. Then he'd turn and go back to close and lock his garage door. And then he'd come in and get into the driver's seat. Well, I found that I could time it so that when he's got his back turned and walking toward his garage, I could scoot around and sit on the passenger side running board. Now he had a 36 Buick. Now I know that because my dad, our family car, was a 39 Buick, 3 years younger. Anyway, wide steering board, easy sitting. So he'd get in the car and I'd be sitting on the hunched over on the running board. He would drive his car out into the alley, get out, close his gate, get back in the car, and drive up to the end of the alley, stop, look both ways, and turn out and go to work. When he stopped at the end of the alley or slowed down, I'd just jump off the running board. I said, this is pretty cool. And I must have done it successfully, say 3 or 4 times. One day my brother was up and out, and he was sitting on the steps of our front porch, and he saw me, and he thought it was the most amazing thing he ever saw. And he said, when I came back home after jumping off the running board, I want to do it too. You're too little. No, I'm not. You're too little, Jason. I'm afraid, you're going to get us caught. No, I won't. No, I won't. No, I can't let you do it. Well, if you don't let me do it, I'm going to tell Mom you're doing it. I thought about that, and I didn't want to lose this game I had with Mr. Harris, right? So I said, okay, but you got to be quiet and you got to be careful. I will. Don't get us caught. I won't. Now we're both on this running board. I'm closer to the front fender and he's closer to the rear fender, right? We successfully ride out of the yard into the alley, and he stops and he goes to close the gate. Then he starts off to work up the alley, and my brother disappears. I look around, and he's sitting back in the alley. There are tire tracks across his calf, and he's sitting there blinking. He's not crying. He's just sitting there blinking like an owl. So being the clever planner that I am, I ran into the house saying, Mom, come quick. Jason just got run over by a car. My mom's up on the 3rd level, and said, I could hear her. Boom, 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 boom. And she's there almost in a flash. From the back porch, she could see my brother sitting in the alley with a tire track across his leg. She runs out of the yard, scoops him up, and runs him in the house. He never cried once. She's pressing and feeling his leg, no reaction. And apparently the fact that the alley was dirt and it was an old-fashioned balloon tire, right? The bone must have just flexed down and I don't remember it even bruising. It was unbelievable. Okay, that's part 1 of the story. Part 2 of the story, we had a family gathering somewhere, and my mother told the group that Mr. Harris had died, and said, poor Mr. Harris. He spent years apologizing from accidentally running over Jason's leg. I told my mom Jason and I were playing in the alley, and Mr. Harris accidentally ran over Jason's leg. And he spent the rest of his life apologizing to Mom and saying how thankful he was that he wasn't seriously hurt. Mira gave me a look because I had told her the true story, and I thought she was going to rat me out.